Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the EDS Titan, staring at the strange message that had just arrived. The communication had come from somewhere beyond their solar system, carried by technology that made Earth's best equipment look like children's toys. He read the words again, his jaw tightening with each line. "Primitive species of the third planet," the message began. "You are now under the protection of the Galactic Council. Your recent attempts at space travel beyond your home system have been noted. Such activities must cease immediately. Your species is not ready for contact with advanced civilizations." Admiral Kate Sullivan walked over to Morrison's station. She was a tall woman with gray hair and sharp eyes that had seen too many battles. "Let me guess," she said. "They want us to stay home and play nice?" Morrison nodded. "They're calling us primitive. Says we need protection from ourselves." He handed her the message display. "They want us to stop all space exploration outside our solar system." Sullivan read the message twice. Her face showed no emotion, but Morrison knew her well enough to see the anger building behind her calm expression. They had worked together for 15 years, fighting pirates and defending Earth's colonies. Neither of them liked being told what to do. "How many ships are coming?" Sullivan asked. Commander Alex Rodriguez looked up from his scanning station. He was young for his rank, but his tactical skills had earned him respect throughout the fleet. "3 vessels, Admiral. They're big, maybe twice the size of our largest ships, but there's something strange about their approach." "Strange how?" Rodriguez frowned at his displays. "They're not trying to hide. No stealth, no advanced formations. They're flying straight toward us like they expect us to just give up." On the main screen, the alien ships appeared as distant dots of light. Even at this range, their unusual design was clear. The vessels looked more like works of art than warships, with flowing curves and bright colors that seemed to shift and change. Lieutenant Commander Lisa Brooks, the ship's communications officer, turned from her station. "Admiral, they're sending another message." "Put it through," Sullivan ordered. A new voice filled the bridge, speaking perfect English but with an odd musical quality. "Human vessels, this is High Commander Zeth Kala of the Zephyrian Enforcement Fleet. We are here to escort you back to your homeworld. Resistance is not advised. Your technology is insufficient to oppose us." Sullivan stepped forward. "This is Admiral Kate Sullivan of the Earth Defense Fleet. We appreciate your concern, but Earth governs itself. We have no interest in your protection." There was a long silence. When the alien voice returned, it sounded surprised. "You refuse our guidance? This is unexpected. Primitive species usually understand their limitations." Morrison moved to stand beside Sullivan. He had spent his whole career protecting human interests, and he wasn't about to stop now. "We're not primitive," he said into the communication system. "We're just different." The alien commander's laughter came through the speakers like wind chimes. "Different? You have barely achieved faster-than-light travel. Your weapons are crude, metal projectiles. Your ships lack even basic energy shielding. How can you call yourselves our equals?" Rodriguez was studying his tactical displays carefully. The alien ships were now close enough for detailed scans. What he saw made him lean forward with interest. "Admiral, their ships are impressive, but they're not built for real fighting." "Explain," Sullivan said. "Look at their weapon placement," Rodriguez said, highlighting sections of the alien vessels on the main screen. "Everything is designed to look threatening, but the actual weapons are placed for show, not effectiveness. And their hull design prioritizes appearance over protection." Morrison understood immediately. "They're used to enemies that surrender without fighting." "Exactly," Rodriguez said. "I don't think they've faced serious resistance in a long time." The alien voice came through the speakers again. "We will demonstrate our superiority. Prepare to be disabled and escorted home." Sullivan looked around the bridge at her crew. These were good people who had chosen to serve humanity among the stars. They had families on Earth and dreams of exploring the galaxy. She wasn't going to let some arrogant aliens end those dreams. "All ships, this is Admiral Sullivan," she said into the fleet communication system. "Prepare for combat. They want to show us their superiority. Let's show them ours." The human fleet consisted of 5 ships. They were smaller than the alien vessels, but built with decades of military experience. Every system was designed for efficiency and survival. The humans had learned their lessons fighting pirates and rebels in the outer colonies. Captain Morrison smiled grimly as he watched the tactical display. The alien ships were moving into what they probably thought was an intimidating formation. But to his experienced eye, they looked like targets waiting to be hit. "Rodriguez, what's your assessment?" Sullivan asked. "They're overconfident, Admiral. Their approach shows they expect us to panic and surrender. But look at their positioning." He highlighted the alien formation on the tactical display. "They're spread out for maximum visual impact, not for mutual support. If we hit them hard and fast, they won't be able to help each other." The alien ships fired warning shots. Bright beams of energy flashed past the human vessels, close enough to show their power but not close enough to cause damage. It was meant to be impressive and frightening. Instead, Morrison found himself calculating the energy output and firing patterns. The alien weapons were powerful, but slow to recharge. More importantly, they seemed designed to disable rather than destroy. These aliens were used to dealing with enemies who would surrender after a show of force. "All ships target the lead vessel," Sullivan ordered. "Full spread kinetic rounds." The human response was immediate and devastating. 5 ships fired at once, sending dozens of metal projectiles toward the alien flagship at incredible speed. The aliens had energy shields, but they were designed to stop energy weapons, not solid objects moving at significant fractions of light speed. The first alien ship shuddered under the impact. Its beautiful hull cracked and atmosphere began venting into space. The other 2 vessels turned toward the humans, their weapons charging for what was clearly meant to be a serious attack. But the humans were already moving, using tactics learned from generations of warfare. They scattered and regrouped, hitting the aliens from unexpected angles. Morrison watched with satisfaction as human adaptability met alien overconfidence. The battle was brief but decisive. Within minutes, all 3 alien ships were either destroyed or disabled. The survivors sent a final message before retreating. "This is impossible. Primitive species do not fight like this." Sullivan looked at the retreating alien ship and knew this was just the beginning. Earth had just announced itself to the galaxy in a way no one would ignore. News of the defeated enforcement fleet traveled fast through the galaxy. On the crystal homeworld of the Vorthak Empire, War Prime Krexthor slammed his 6-fingered hand against the council table. The sound echoed through the chamber like breaking glass. "Impossible," he roared. 3 of our allied ships destroyed by primitives? This report must be wrong. Across the table, Elder Wisp of the Ethereal Collective floated in her containment field. Her voice came out as a soft musical tone. "The data is confirmed, War Prime. The humans not only survived first contact, they won decisively." High Counselor Vextar of the Zephyrian Republic shifted uncomfortably in his seat. His people had led the failed enforcement mission. "Perhaps we underestimated their capabilities," he said carefully. Krexthor's eyes glowed brighter with anger. "Underestimated? They are barely out of their caves. They only achieved spaceflight 50 years ago. How can such creatures defeat Council forces?" Elder Wisp projected holographic images into the center of the chamber. The battle footage showed human ships moving in patterns none of them had seen before. The vessels attacked from multiple directions, using their own momentum and the gravity of nearby planets to increase their speed and change direction quickly. "Look at their tactics," Elder Wisp said. "They fight like no species we have encountered. Their movements seem random, but they are actually highly coordinated." War Prime Krexthor studied the images. His race had dominated space warfare for thousands of years. They understood military strategy better than any other Council species. But these human tactics made no sense to him. "They waste energy with unnecessary movement," he said. "Their formations have no classical structure. This should make them easy to defeat, yet they won," Elder Wisp reminded him gently. Meanwhile, on Earth, President Sam Carter stood before the United Nations Assembly. The large hall was packed with representatives from every nation. The news of first contact had changed everything. My fellow humans, Carter began, we are no longer alone in the universe. We have made contact with other intelligent species, and they have tested our resolve. I am proud to report that humanity has passed that test. The assembly erupted in applause. Carter waited for quiet before continuing. However, we must prepare for what comes next. The aliens who attacked our ships were just the beginning. Intelligence. Reports suggest a much larger force may be coming. In the back of the hall, Dr. Rachel Green listened carefully. As Earth's leading expert on alien life, she had been working around the clock to understand their new neighbors. What she had learned worried her. After the president's speech, Dr. Green met with Admiral Sullivan in a secure briefing room. Charts and data filled the walls around them. What do we know about their capabilities? Sullivan asked. Dr. Green activated a holographic display. The Galactic Council consists of 12 different species. Each one has unique advantages. The Zephyrians who attacked us are actually considered among the weaker military powers. Sullivan frowned. If they were the weak ones, what are the strong ones like? The Vorthak Empire controls most of the galaxy's military forces. Dr. Green explained. They have been fighting wars for thousands of years. Their technology is far ahead of ours in most areas. Most areas? Dr. Green smiled slightly. That's the interesting part. Our analysis of the captured alien technology shows something unexpected. They are more advanced than us, but they think in very rigid patterns. Their weapons, their ships, their tactics all follow established rules. Sullivan understood immediately. She had spent her career fighting enemies who followed military textbooks too closely. They can't adapt. Exactly. When something unexpected happens, they have trouble responding. That's why our unconventional tactics worked so well. On the bridge of the EDS Titan, Captain Morrison was reviewing battle reports when Commander Rodriguez approached with new intelligence data. Captain, we've detected long-range communications from the alien fleet. They're calling for reinforcements. Morrison looked at the intercept data. The alien messages were partially encrypted, but Earth's computers had broken enough of the code to understand the basic meaning. How many ships? Morrison asked. At least 27, sir, representing 6 different species. They're calling it a punishment fleet. Morrison felt a chill. 5 human ships had barely defeated 3 aliens. 27 would be a much bigger challenge. What's their estimated arrival time? 18 days, sir. Morrison activated the ship's communication system. Admiral Sullivan, we need to talk. Within hours, Earth's military leaders were meeting in emergency session. The holographic conference room connected bases and ships throughout the solar system. 18 days to prepare for 27 alien warships, Sullivan said. What are our options? General Paul Davis, head of Earth's orbital defenses, spoke first. We can have 12 ships ready by then. All of our latest designs incorporating what we learned from the first battle. 12 against 27, Morrison said. Not good odds. Commander Rodriguez had been studying tactical possibilities. Actually, sir, the odds might be better than they look. The aliens are coming. From 6 different species. That means 6 different fighting styles, 6 different command structures, and 6 different technologies that may not work well together. Dr. Green nodded agreement. The intelligence data supports that theory. The Council species cooperate, but they don't truly integrate their forces. Each group fights according to their own traditions. Sullivan leaned forward. Can we use that against them? Possibly, Rodriguez said. If we can create confusion in their ranks, make them uncertain about our capabilities, they might start making mistakes. Morrison had an idea. What if we don't? Fight them the way they expect? Explain, Sullivan said. They're expecting a traditional space battle. Ship against ship, formation against formation. What if we don't give them that? Rodriguez caught on quickly. Guerrilla tactics in space, hit-and-run attacks. Use the asteroid belt and planetary gravity wells as cover. Turn our entire solar system into a battlefield, Morrison continued. Make them fight on our terms, in our territory. Sullivan smiled. For the first time since the crisis began. I like it. We can't match their technology, but we can make them fight a type of war they've never seen before. Dr. Green pulled up star charts of the solar system. We have advantages they don't know about. We understand our local space better than anyone. We know every asteroid, every gravity well, every solar radiation pattern. 18 days, Sullivan said. Let's make them count. Across the galaxy, the Council's punishment fleet was already moving toward Earth. Admiral Thanedock of the Vorthak Empire commanded from his flagship, confident that no primitive species could stand against the combined might of 6 Council races. He had no idea that Earth was preparing to fight a war unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Admiral Thanedock stood in the command center of his flagship, the Void Crusher. Around him, holographic displays showed the positions of 27 warships from 6 different Council species. It was the largest military force assembled in 50 years. The Vorthak Admiral had never lost a battle in 3 centuries of service. His crystalline body reflected the blue light of the ship's displays as he studied the tactical information about Earth. Everything he saw told him this would be an easy victory. Primitive projectile weapons, he said to his second-in-command. No energy shields, no gravitic manipulation. How did they defeat our enforcement fleet? Commander Yithka, a younger Vorthak with bright green crystal formations, looked at the data carefully. The report suggests they used unconventional tactics, Admiral. Their ships moved in patterns our forces did not expect. Thanedock made a sound like grinding stone, which was how his species showed dismissal. Unconventional tactics cannot overcome superior technology. When we arrive, we will show them the difference between luck and skill. The Admiral's confidence was shared throughout the fleet. Captain Zorathon of the Helix Confederation commanded 5 sleek ships that could move faster than anything Earth had ever built. Wing Commander Sek of the Shard Collective led a group of vessels that could phase in and out of normal space. Each species brought their best weapons and their most experienced crews. On Earth, the 18 days of preparation were passing quickly. Admiral Sullivan walked through the orbital shipyard where crews worked around the clock to prepare humanity's fleet. Sparks flew from welding torches as workers installed new weapon systems based on captured alien technology. Captain Morrison joined her at the observation deck. "How are we doing?" he asked. "Better than expected," Sullivan replied. "The engineers have managed to combine alien energy systems with our kinetic weapons. The new ships pack twice the firepower of the originals." Morrison watched a new destroyer float past the viewing window. The ship looked different from earlier human designs. It was more angular, with weapon ports placed for maximum coverage rather than appearance. "What about the defense grid?" Morrison asked. Commander Rodriguez appeared beside them, carrying a data pad full of tactical information. "Fully operational, sir. We've turned the entire solar system into a fortress." Rodriguez activated a holographic display that showed the solar system from the sun to beyond Pluto. Thousands of small objects appeared on the display scattered throughout space. "Weapon platforms?" Morrison asked. "Some of them," Rodriguez said. "But most are sensor arrays and communication relays. When the aliens arrive, we'll know exactly where they are at all times. They won't be able to surprise us." Sullivan studied the display. "And our mobile forces? 12 ships ready for combat," Rodriguez reported. "But we're not planning to fight them ship to ship. We're going to make them chase us through the asteroid belt, past Jupiter's moons, anywhere we can use the local environment to our advantage." Dr. Green joined the group carrying reports from the intelligence division. "We've learned more about their fleet composition," she said. 6 different species, each with their own command structure. They're going to have trouble coordinating their attacks. "How much trouble?" Sullivan asked. "Consider this," Dr. Green said. "The Vorthak Empire likes direct frontal assaults. The Helix Confederation prefers high-speed hit-and-run attacks. The Shard Collective uses phasing technology to appear behind enemy lines. Put them all together and they might get in each other's way." Morrison smiled grimly. "Especially if we give them something unexpected to react to." The alien fleet dropped, out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. Admiral Thanedock expected to see human ships waiting in defensive formation around their homeworld. Instead, his sensors showed something that made no sense. "Commander Yithka, what am I looking at?" he demanded. The younger Vorthak studied the sensor readings carefully. The human homeworld appears to be defended, Admiral, but not in any way we recognize. There are thousands of objects throughout their star system, but most are too small to be warships. Weapons platforms? Possibly, sir. But the energy signatures are minimal. They don't appear to be heavily armed. Admiral Thanedock felt the first stirrings of unease. Every military manual in the galaxy described how primitive species would defend their homeworlds. They would gather their ships in close formation around their planet, creating a single defensive line that could be broken with superior firepower. But the humans had scattered their defenses throughout their entire star system. It was either the work of genius strategists or complete amateurs who didn't understand proper tactics. "Where are their main battleships?" Thanedock asked. Yithka checked the sensors again. "Uncertain, Admiral. We detect some large vessels, but they appear to be moving away from us, deeper into their system." "Running away?" Thanedock felt relief. This made more sense. The humans realized they were outmatched and were retreating to make a final stand around their planet. On the bridge of the EDS Titan, Captain Morrison watched the alien fleets approach on his tactical display. The enemy ships were moving in a standard formation, exactly as Rodriguez had predicted. "They're taking the bait," Morrison reported to Admiral Sullivan over the communication system. "Excellent," Sullivan's voice came back. "Begin Phase 1. Morrison turned to his crew. "All ships implement scatter pattern Delta. Let's draw them into the belt." The human fleet began moving toward the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. To the aliens, it looked like a retreat, but Morrison knew it was the opening move in a carefully planned strategy. Lieutenant Commander Brooks monitored alien communications. "Captain, they're dividing their forces. The Vorthak ships are coming straight after us, but the Helix vessels are trying to circle around toward Earth." "Perfect," Morrison said. "Rodriguez, activate the outer sensor grid." Suddenly, the alien fleet found themselves surrounded by active sensor platforms. Every movement they made was tracked and reported. Information flowed to human commanders throughout the solar system. Admiral Thanedock realized too late that he had made a mistake. The humans weren't running away. They were leading him into a trap. "All ships prepare for engagement," he ordered. "These primitives want to play games. Let us show them how the Council fights wars." But as his fleet moved deeper into the human solar system, Thanedock began to understand that this would be unlike any war the Council had ever fought. The humans were turning the very nature of space combat upside down. The Battle of Luna began at exactly 1400 hours, Earth time. Admiral Thanedock had divided his fleet into 3 groups, expecting to crush human resistance with overwhelming force. Instead, he found himself fighting an enemy that refused to follow any known rules of warfare. Captain Morrison led the first group of human ships through the asteroid belt. Behind him, 8 Vorthak warships pursued at full speed. Their crystal hulls gleamed as they fired energy beams that could slice through solid rock. "They're gaining on us, Captain," Lieutenant Commander Brooks reported from her station. Morrison smiled coldly. "Let them get closer. Rodriguez, are the charges ready?" Commander Rodriguez checked his tactical display. "All set, sir. The Vorthak ships are exactly where we want them." Morrison activated his communication system. "All ships execute Trap Alpha on my mark." He watched the alien vessels move deeper into the asteroid field. Mark. Explosions erupted throughout the asteroid belt. Human engineers had spent weeks placing charges on carefully selected rocks. Now those asteroids became massive projectiles, hurled directly at the pursuing alien ships. Admiral Thanedock watched in horror as his lead vessel was crushed by a rock the size of a city building. The asteroid had been accelerated to incredible speed by hidden human devices. His ship's energy shields, designed to stop directed energy weapons, were useless against solid matter moving at such velocity. "Impossible," he roared. "No one weaponizes asteroids." But the humans were just getting started. As the Vorthak ships tried to maneuver around the flying rocks, human vessels appeared from hiding places behind other asteroids. They fired their kinetic weapons at point-blank range, then disappeared again before the aliens could respond. On the other side of the solar system, Captain Zorathan of the Helix Confederation was having his own problems. His 5 ships were the fastest in the galaxy, but speed meant nothing when the enemy was everywhere at once. "Commander, we're receiving fire from multiple directions," his tactical officer reported. "But I cannot locate the source." What Zorathan didn't understand was that the humans were using the moons of Jupiter as cover. They would emerge from behind one moon, fire their weapons, then use Jupiter's gravity to slingshot around to another position. By the time the alien ships turned to face them, the humans were already somewhere else. Lieutenant Colonel Ben Harper commanded the human fighter squadrons. His small ships were barely larger than atmospheric aircraft, but they moved like angry wasps around the larger alien vessels. "Gold Squadron, attack pattern 7, Harper ordered over the radio. "Hit them from below while they're distracted." The human fighters swarmed over a Helix cruiser, their weapons targeting specific weak points that Dr. Green had identified from captured alien technology. The cruiser's shields were designed to stop large weapons, not dozens of small ones attacking simultaneously. Meanwhile, Wing Commander Sek of the Shard Collective was discovering that phasing technology had unexpected limitations. His ships could become partially invisible by shifting between dimensions, but human sensors could still track the gravitational disturbances they created. "Human vessels are predicting our phase patterns," Sek reported to Admiral Thanedock. "They fire at where we will be, not where we are." Commander Rodriguez had spent days studying the alien phasing technology. He discovered that it followed mathematical patterns that human computers could calculate. Now every time a shard ship tried to phase behind human lines, it found human weapons waiting for it. The battle raged for 6 hours. Admiral Thanedock found his carefully planned assault falling apart. His ships were designed to fight in open space, where their superior technology could dominate. But the humans had turned their entire solar system into a maze of hazards and ambush points. "And status report," Thanedock demanded. Commander Yithka's crystal body had lost much of its luster. "We have lost 14 ships, Admiral. The humans have lost only 3. "How is this possible?" Thanedock asked. "We have superior numbers, superior technology, superior experience. The humans fight like no species we have encountered," Yithka replied. "They use their environment as a weapon. They coordinate their attacks across impossible distances. They adapt their tactics faster than we can respond." On the bridge of the EDS Titan, Captain Morrison was coordinating the human defense. His ship had taken damage, but his crew was still fighting with determination. That impressed even him. "Admiral Sullivan, this is Morrison," he said into his communication system. "The aliens are starting to break formation. I think we're winning." Sullivan's voice came back over the radio. "Confirmed, Morrison. Their command structure is falling apart. Each alien species is fighting separately now." This was exactly what the humans had hoped for. Dr. Green had predicted that stress would cause the alien alliance to fragment. Each species would fall back on their own tactics and stop cooperating with the others. The Vorthak ships were trying to regroup for a direct assault on Earth. The Helix vessels were attempting high-speed attacks that their allies couldn't support. The Shard Collective was phasing randomly, creating chaos in their own ranks. Lieutenant Colonel Harper led his fighters in the final assault on Admiral Thanedock's flagship. The massive vessel was damaged and isolated from the rest of the alien fleet. "All squadrons concentrate fire on the command section," Harper ordered. The human fighters swarmed over the alien flagship like insects attacking a giant. Their combined firepower overwhelmed the ship's defenses. Explosions rippled across the crystalline hull as critical systems failed. Admiral Thanedock stood on his bridge as alarms wailed around him. His ship was dying, his fleet was scattered, and his reputation was destroyed. For the first time in 3 centuries, he was facing defeat. "Sir," Commander Yithka said quietly, "perhaps we should consider retreat." Thanedock looked at the tactical display. More than half his fleet was gone. The remaining ships were scattered and disorganized. The humans were still fighting with coordination and determination that amazed him. "Signal all ships," he said finally. "We withdraw." Captain Morrison watched the alien vessels flee toward the edge of the solar system. His crew cheered, but Morrison felt no celebration. This battle was over, but he knew it was just the beginning. The humans had won through courage, creativity, and careful planning. But they had also announced to the galaxy that Earth would not be conquered easily. The next visitors might come as friends instead of enemies. The Great Council chamber had never seen such chaos. Representatives from 12 different species argued loudly while holographic displays showed the destruction of their most powerful fleet. The defeat at Earth had shaken the foundation of galactic civilization. War Prime. Krexthor paced back and forth, his crystalline body reflecting the chamber's lights like a prism of anger. "This is unacceptable," he roared. "A primitive species has humiliated the entire council. We must send the full battle fleet." Elder Wisp of the Ethereal Collective floated in her containment field, her voice calm despite the chaos around her. "Perhaps we should consider that these humans are not as primitive as we believed." "Impossible," Krexthor snapped. "They barely discovered space travel 50 years ago. They cannot be our equals." High Counselor Vexitar of the Zephyrian Republic raised one of his forearms for attention. "The battle reports are clear. The humans defeated Admiral Thanedock using tactics we have never encountered. Maybe we should try talking to them instead of fighting them." The chamber fell silent. In the thousands of years of Council history, no member species had ever suggested negotiating with primitives. The idea was revolutionary and terrifying. Elder Wisp spoke into the silence. "I have studied the humans carefully. They possess something we have lost over the centuries of our advanced civilization. They can adapt and change quickly. They see solutions where we see only problems." 3 days later, Dr. Rachel Green stood on the observation deck of the new space station orbiting Earth. The facility had been built in record time to house the first official diplomatic meeting between humanity and the Galactic Council. Captain Morrison joined her at the viewing window. His uniform showed the scars of recent battles, but his eyes held hope instead of anger. "Are you ready for this?" Morrison asked. Dr. Green smiled nervously. "As ready as anyone can be for making history." The council representatives arrived this morning. They seemed different from what I expected. Different how? More respectful. The defeat of their fleet has changed how they see us. They're not treating us like children anymore. Admiral Sullivan approached them, carrying a datapad full of diplomatic protocols. "The council delegation is ready to meet. Dr. Green, you'll be our lead representative. Morrison, you'll handle military questions. I'll observe and intervene if needed." The diplomatic meeting took place in a circular chamber designed to accommodate different species. The human delegation sat across from 5 alien representatives, each one showing visible signs of nervousness. Elder Wisp spoke first, her musical voice translated by advanced computers. "Humans of Earth, we come to apologize for our previous actions. We misjudged your capabilities and your right to explore the galaxy freely." Dr. Green leaned forward. "We appreciate your apology, Elder Wisp, but we need more than words. We need guarantees that Earth will be treated as an equal partner in galactic affairs." High Counselor Vexitar shifted uncomfortably. "Equal partnership is unprecedented. No species has joined the Council without centuries of evaluation and preparation." Captain Morrison spoke for the first time. "With respect, Counselor, we've already proven ourselves. Your best military minds couldn't defeat us. Your most advanced weapons couldn't break our defenses. What more evaluation do you need?" War Prime Krexthor, who had been silent until now, finally spoke. His words came out like grinding stone. "You fight like no species we have encountered. Your tactics are unpredictable, your strategies innovative. We have studied warfare for thousands of years, but you taught us new ways of thinking in a single battle." Dr. Green saw an opening. "That's exactly why the galaxy needs humanity. We bring fresh perspectives to old problems. We can help the Council grow and adapt instead of staying locked in ancient patterns." The negotiations continued for 3 days. The aliens struggled with the concept of accepting a new species as equals, but slowly evidence of human capabilities wore down their resistance. Elder Wisp presented the breakthrough argument. "Consider what these humans have accomplished. In 50 years of space travel, they have developed technologies that complement our own. They have shown military innovation that our best strategists cannot match. They have demonstrated diplomatic wisdom in these very negotiations. How can we call such beings primitive? The final agreement was unlike anything in galactic history. The Terra Accords established humanity as the 13th member of the Galactic Council with full rights and responsibilities. Earth would have the same voice in galactic affairs as species that had been spacefaring for millennia. But the Accords went beyond simple membership. They established joint research programs where human creativity would combine with alien technology. They created exploration partnerships where human adaptability would help investigate dangerous new worlds. They set up cultural exchange programs to share knowledge and ideas across species barriers. President Sam Carter signed the Accords in a ceremony broadcast across Earth. Billions of humans watched as their species officially joined the galactic community. Today, Carter said, humanity takes its place among the stars not as subjects but as partners. We bring our own unique gifts to this ancient alliance, and we will help shape the galaxy's future. 6 months later, Admiral Sullivan stood on the bridge of the EDS Horizon, humanity's first interstellar exploration vessel. Around her, a mixed crew of humans and aliens worked together to prepare for departure. Destination? Asked Navigator Zinthara, a young Zephyrian who had volunteered to serve on a human ship. The Andromeda Relay, Sullivan replied. It's time to see what's beyond Council space. Captain Morrison, now serving as Earth's first Galactic Council representative, watched the departure from the new diplomatic station. The human fleet was no longer confined to their solar system. They were free to explore the galaxy and beyond. As the EDS Horizon activated its faster-than-light drive, Morrison reflected on how much had changed. 6 months ago, Earth had been an isolated world threatened by alien conquest. Now, humanity was leading joint missions to explore unknown regions of space. The other Council species watched these developments with a mixture of respect and wonder. The humans had not only earned their place in galactic civilization, they were changing it for the better. Elder Wisp floated beside Morrison as they watched the human ship disappear into hyperspace. Your species has brought something we did not know we were missing, she said. What's that? Morrison asked. Hope, Elder Wisp replied. For thousands of years, the Council has maintained order through established patterns and ancient wisdom. But you humans have shown us that change can bring growth instead of chaos. You have reminded us that the galaxy still holds mysteries worth discovering. Morrison smiled as he looked out at the stars. Earth's unexpected fury had indeed startled the Galactic Council, but more importantly, it had opened doors to a future neither species could have imagined alone.